Hey, it is Curly Shirley and I am back with another tutorial in Ting. Today we are going to be doing a seascape sunrise-esque piece. So to get started, I obviously have my paintbrushes and then I have my colors, which are light yellow, white, light blue, dark blue, black. Don't need anything fancy, dollar store is good enough. So I'm gonna get started with yellow and white, as you guys can see, and I am pretty much just marking out my horizon line. Now you don't necessarily need that piece of masking tape there, which is why I didn't mention it, but it definitely helps as a guideline. So I'm going in with that mixture and then I'm sort of adding a little bit of extra white on top because I don't feel like the color that I mixed is light enough. This technique is called the wet on wet technique. So you're pretty much blending as you go on the canvas. I'm pretty much gonna go ahead and work that up a little bit, and then I'm gonna mix together a little bit of blue in the same color of mixture. I just put it off to the side so it doesn't mix with the base color that I already have. You don't wanna put too much blue because as you can see, it's like a greeny color that isn't the most pleasant. But as I usually say, trust the process. You're gonna kind of just use that to help make a gradient effect and work towards that beautiful blue tropical. It's actually called tropical blue for those of you who don't know, but it will be listed in the description box with all the rest of the colors, so bear with me, trust the process. So here I'm going in with that tropical blue and I'm sort of working that into that greenish color that we had before. Again, as I said, like a lot of this is intuitive, so it's sort of just like what feels good, you know. That's the best way to learn how to paint. You sort of just go with, hey, I'm feeling like doing this, and then if you make a mistake, whoop-de-doo, you make a mistake, you always end up learning from it. If not, you still end up learning from it, right? It's all about what works for you. So as I said, I'm working that tropical blue in and then I'm sort of adding little pieces of yellow as well as the yellow and white mixture that I made and sort of working that up. If you notice, I'm kind of making a bit of a hump that's supposed to signify the sun that would be rising. So yeah, there is that on that. As I start to feel more comfortable working my way up, I'm going to start to add a little bit more blue. I did mix a little bit of blue and white, again, using that wet on wet technique. Do not be scared. Like I said, do not be scared. Just roll with it. Trust the process. All right. So once I sort of feel comfortable with whatever color I've blended there, which is that green, blue, yellowish color, I'm going to start going in with the straight light blue color. And again, just making my way up. Your best bet here is to make sure that you have nice long strokes. My strokes could really be longer, but again, that's the kind of stroke I was feeling for that day. We're going with the vibe, what feels good, right? So I'm making my way up with the blue. Adding in little bits of that yellow again, sort of the process of just layering. You can always edit and fix things by layering more paint, so do not be afraid. So by the time I'm working my way to the top or about halfway through that space, I'm kind of getting a little bit more comfy. Obviously, I'm starting to like how it looks, so I'm just going up there with the straight blue, working that in, adding little bits of the yellow as I feel it's needed. Those strokes or strokes or indications of the yellow is pretty much just going to give you the idea of the aura of the sun, you know? It's the vibe. Do not forget to paint your edges, people. It helps make it look good when your masterpiece is hanging on the wall, all right? So again, like I said, layers. I'm adding some of that yellow. A good way to help you gain perspective when you are working on a piece is to squint your eyes. Sounds weird? Trust the process. Let me know what you think, okay? So once I feel comfortable with that, I'm going to let it dry and then I'm going to take off my horizon line. One thing I didn't mention here, I did use some orange. The orange or red, whatever works for you, basically helps to make a gray base for the water. The reason why I'm doing this is because it just gives the ocean a little bit more depth. If you had blue beside the same kind of blue, it just wouldn't have the same dimension. It wouldn't look as realistic. So if you want it to look a little bit more realistic, add a little bit of orange or red. You do not need much though, just a tad. So again, to make any kind of gray, you would use the primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. So I picked orange because I'm lazy and don't want to have to mix the red and yellow, right? Once I'm finished that, I'm going to go in with the straight dark blue, and then after that, I'm going to mix the dark blue with the light blue and add it on. Layers, people. We're layering. So with this, I'm pretty much going to be doing long strokes, but as you can see with the brush, my brush is not flat. I'm using the edge. So sort of just going back and forth. If you make a shh, 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 shh noise, don't ask me. Again, we're intuitively painting. So sounds and kind of blurring your eyes will help you in terms of perspective to make things look more realistic or to help you get certain effects. Sounds weird, play around with it and tell me, does it work or does it not work? I mean, I don't mean to boast, but look at my pieces, okay? The proof is in the pudding. So again, I'm layering on that light blue color again, which is sort of gonna show that it's reflecting what's in the sky, right? See how I'm working that edge there? The strokes won't be as long as they were in the sky, obviously, because the shorter strokes are going to kind of give the impression of waves of water, you know, or ripples of water, should I say. So once I feel comfortable with the light blue, that's when I'm going to sort of go in with the yellow and kind of blend that together. If I feel like I added a little bit too much, I will go in with the light blue again, or possibly go in even with the dark blue. And then once I'm comfortable with that, I will add a little bit of white. So as you can see, like there's kind of a choppiness of, you know, how the picture is changing or the painting is changing. And that has to do with me just blending a lot and adding 50 million layers. I'm exaggerating, but you get what I mean. So you want to make sure that you put the lighter colors closer to the middle. So if you notice, I'm putting a lot of the white in the middle. Here I'm going in with a thinner brush and I'm starting the mountains. So I didn't completely finish what I was talking about with the lighter color. You want the light to be in the middle because that sort of signifies where the sun is located or where it's rising from. Your light source is in the middle, right? So moving on, these mountains, I'm sure you guys know how to make mountains. They're sort of just like rickety triangles. I'm using the same gray that I used before, and then I am adding so there you go, I'm showing you that the light source is going outwards, so you would know that anything closest to the middle or on the inner side is going to be lighter colored, and then on the outer side it's going to be darker colored. So there I am adding a little bit of highlights. I did use a bit of black to show the shadow on the other side just to give it some contrast, and then I am pretty much just adding a little bit of reflection into the water with the same gray, and then making I guess you could say a horizon line to show where the rock actually meets the water, and then again adding a little bit more reflection. So here I'm just adding a little bit more details, just kind of touching it up. Again, third time's the charm. I think it's the third time I've said it. I'm just going based off of intuition, what feels good for me, right? So here I am sort of adding the yellow, the white. Most of my yellow and white, again, is in the middle of the piece, because that is where my light source is located. If you guys would like more help in terms of understanding color theory, light sources, all of that stuff, leave a comment down below. Let me know. I'm definitely open to doing that. So if you guys notice, it's just very repetitive because it's just layering. It's the layers that gives it a lot of dimension, how the colors relate to one another.